This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so following the previous video where I asked you all the question of what happens with Anthony Joshua if he loses to Oleksandr Usyk, where does he stand in the current heavyweight division, where does he go, all that kind of stuff. In this video, I want to ask you the opposite question. What happens if he defeats Oleksandr Usyk and becomes a three-time unified world heavyweight champion? Does that put him back on the throne as king of the heavyweight division? Does that put him back to being number one in the heavyweight division over a Tyson Fury? Does that make him the best of this era currently if Tyson Fury retires? Now, depending on where you sit will be dependent on your answer, as in, are you a fan of Anthony Joshua or are you a fan of Tyson Fury? Now, I've said this consistently and I'm not going to change my mind on it. For me to know this answer, I need to see Fury fight the winner of Joshua Usyk. And if that happens to be Anthony Joshua, then I need to see Fury take on Joshua to solidify the undisputed and thus being the number one of this era. That's how I truly have always stood on it, okay? But if Fury was to retire, and then you sum up this era, I know this era, they've probably still got another 3-4 years left in it, but would we look back and say Joshua is actually the best of this era? I mean, we could look on it as resume, couldn't we? We could say, but Tyson Fury's best wins would be a Vladimir Klitschko, a Dillian Whyte, and a Deontay Wilder. You can say Deontay Wilder 3 times if you like, but it's still one person. So that's 3 people. Well, 2 of those people, Klitschko and Dillian Whyte, Joshua has already defeated as well. So that would leave a Wilder, somebody who Joshua hasn't fought. And I think most people would agree, a win over Usyk, an Usyk on your resume is better than a Wilder on your resume. Wilder has one trick. It's a hell of a trick, but it's one trick, that big punch. With Usyk being southpaw, with all the skills in the world, with all his past accomplishments as an amateur and of course as a pro and all that kind of thing, I think most people would agree an Usyk on your resume is far better than a Wilder on your resume. So if we were to just look at that part, should we say Joshua is number one or the best of this era? Could we factor in that Joshua also has a undefeated Joseph Park on his resume? Could we factor in that he has a Alexander Povetkin on his resume? Could we factor in that Anthony Joshua, to get all those belts as a unified package, he defeated champion after champion? He belt collected, whereas Fury defeated one man in Vladimir Klitschko. Or could we flip it and say, but Tyson Fury, he won those belts on the road, which of course is usually a harder accomplishment, of course. So he went to Dusseldorf in Germany to dethrone Vladimir Klitschko. He went to America to defeat a Deontay Wilder. The first fight officially a draw, but I think we all can agree that Tyson Fury should have got the decision in that first fight. Tyson Fury, of course, has won every belt that the heavyweight division has to offer. So it is a tough one. If Tyson Fury retires, it's going to leave a lot of unanswered questions. A lot of unanswered questions. Because Tyson Fury's resume is lacking, that's for sure. He's got impressive wins, very impressive wins. Of course he does. I think Joshua has more impressive wins than Tyson Fury. He does. So in an ideal world, if Tyson Fury is going to continue boxing, and if Anthony Joshua defeats Oleksandr Usyk, the best thing to do, put them together, let's find out. That's a simple solution, isn't it? Because at the minute, it's all just opinion. That's all it really is. I don't really like opinions. I like facts. And the only way that I can get that fact is to see Joshua, providing he gets past Usyk, of course, fight Fury. And I think that's a fight that Tyson Fury will certainly fancy. I mean, why wouldn't he? It's the payday. Now, but if Tyson Fury does go off and retire and say, I'm definitely never coming back, and he sticks to his word and doesn't come back, then of course you've got the debate. Well, Joshua, he never fought Wilder. Joshua, he never fought a Tyson Fury. Okay, but he did try and fight them. Let's not try and hide behind the fact that he didn't. Now, to offer a Deontay Wilder at that time $50 million to fight him and still not get him in the ring is ridiculous. The fact that Tyson Fury would have got a minimum 75 million to fight Anthony Joshua in the first fight, and around about 100 million for the rematch, if of course he was to defeat Joshua in the first fight. I mean, how much more money and how much more effort do you have to put in to fight a Wilder and to fight a Fury? At the end of the day, if they don't want to get in the ring with you, then they don't want to get in the ring with you. So it's not from lack of effort from Anthony Joshua, we can say that. But it is going to be an interesting debate in a couple of years' time if Fury does retire and we never get to see Fury take on Joshua or Usyk or anyone like that. And if Wilder retires and whatever else. So it is going to be interesting. It is going to be a debate as to who is the best of this era. But first things first, Anthony Joshua does have to get past Oleksandr Usyk. It does. I favour him to do so. I want him to do so. I'm desperately want him to do so. Okay, but anyway, food for thought. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up. Subscribe. Catch you on the next video.